Hey there, goblins. Welcome to another episode of Goblin Salvage Rites. My name's Robert.
I'm Erik.
Today, we're going to be talking about a new book just came out, Monster Core 2.
Dos.
Dos Cores.
Now there are two of them.
Monsters. It's we just got our hands on the book about 2 weeks ago. Some pretty exciting new stuff. A lot of old stuff that they've repackaged into the book.
Yep.
We're going to be talking about that, our first impressions, whether or not we would buy it, and what our top 5 favorite monsters from the book are.
Yep.
Yeah. Before we jump into the topic, we want to thank all of our patrons for supporting us at Patreon. Link to that is in the doobly-doo. We post third-party content for Pathfinder 2nd Edition every month. So go down there and check it out.
It's amazing. The very best.
The very best goblin craftsmanship.
So much duct tape.
So much duct tape. We also have a Patreon. We also have a Discord. One of our Discord members just recently wrote us a review of the channel.
That's pretty awesome.
And one of the things I really loved about that review was they noted like how special our Discord is, I guess, and how like how collaborative it is, and how much people actually like working together on it.
That's like, I think we can take credit for maybe 30% of it, and the rest goes to you guys.
Absolutely, yeah. We have multiple like games running on our Discord.
Yeah,
I'm playing one every Sunday that a couple of the patrons play in, a couple non-patrons
I'm in
play
2 of them, and there's a lot of subject matter experts. I'm learning all about Foundry from people who are in the Discord.
Yeah.
And everybody's just really cool about sharing knowledge. So if you want some knowledge dropped on your fat goblin head, then grab yourself by the ears and come to Discord.
Absolutely. So before we jump into the topic, I want to talk about what we played.
Yeah, I didn't play squad. This one's you.
Okay. I played Bloodlords last Sunday. 2 important things happened. 1, we finally got to use the Rod of Wonder.
Oh, God.
Which is amazing.
Do they still call it that after remastered?
It is the Rod of Wonder.
Wizards of the Coast didn't shit a brick?
Okay, I could be wrong.
Okay.
Correct me in the comments, goblins. But it's a Rod of Wonder.
Yeah, right. We all know what it is.
And he had like no actions left, and he just fired it off. It didn't do anything crazy. It cast Dancing Weapon on one of the opponents.
Okay.
And that's it. And their weapon danced, and he was like, "Hey, stop that!" And that's it. But it was fun.
Okay.
And we're gonna see more fun Rod of Wonder stories. Yeah. I don't play a character who's very whimsical, but I swear to God, if Toku dies, my next character is gonna steal.
Not very whimsical, but you spent the last 2 full books speaking in haiku, so
yeah,
there's just a tad bit of whimsy there.
Okay,
just a little bit.
We just finished book 2. Spoilers for Bloodlords. We killed a hag, the final hag in this coven, and
rude.
It was really weird. The book came out around the same time that Book of the Dead came out, right? And you would think that in a book set in Geb, they would expect people to play undead players.
Yeah.
We have an all-undead party. Well, we have a human who has negative healing, so he's basically undead.
Sure. Honorary undead.
Honorary, yeah. So what's weird about the adventure path that I've learned from the DM is that all those pre-written spells, like half the pre-written spells don't work on undead.
Yeah, negative and positive. And
so like undead don't breathe. Like in rules as written, a lot of undead just don't have to breathe. And like the badass spell that this hag had prepared was Cloud Kill.
Right.
Which would have done nothing to us. And she was a subject matter expert in undead. So she knew that her spell wouldn't work on us. And her undead alkalites all had Vampiric Touch prepared, which does void damage, which wouldn't have hurt us. So, it was just like, and you know, the DM Kyle, he was kind of like, yeah, this fight felt way easier than it was supposed to be. And I'm like, yeah. And he suggested like maybe in the future he's going to start adding.
Well, just convert the spells to their other opposites.
Exactly. Yeah. So what I was going to say is like, maybe he was going to, he suggested that maybe he's going to start making monsters elite. And I'm like, whoa. That's a fast track to
I think you should do that.
To Danger Town. I mean, is Toku incredibly tanky? Yes. But let's not push our luck.
Elite and severe, go.
So instead, what I was just like, what you might have to do is just go through every spellcaster and make sure that their spells work on
That's not obnoxious at all.
Yeah, it kind of
and defeats the purpose of buying pre-written material for horrendous amounts of money.
It doesn't defeat the purpose because there's still plenty of other purposes being served. But having to rewrite small parts of an adventure never feels great.
Especially when you pay exorbitant amounts of money for them.
Is it exorbitant?
I mean, I get it. And it should be that price. But it's a lot of money to have something that doesn't work.
Well, it works if your players are playing living creatures, which is the weird assumption about Bloodlords.
Yeah.
And I think that's just a weird assumption. I actually think it's probably a fair assumption of maybe normal people who don't have access
to turned early in that AP.
No, we just started as undead.
Oh, you don't know because you haven't read it. Okay, got it.
Yeah. We just started as undead.
Yeah,
and you don't get turned. You can just start as a human, and there's no, as far as I know, there's no way to become undead. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm curious about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that sounds like a fun experience.
It was
fun adjacent.
We were 8th level. We finished book 2. We're about to have like months of downtime, apparently.
Like in-game months?
In-game months.
What are you going to do with all that time?
I don't.
What does undead do with downtime when the dead don't sleep?
Well, we're apparently like local heroes because a lot of people hated these hags. So that's cool. I don't really know. Toku is probably just going to... I think this is the time where I'm going to start focusing on his background and kind of what I want him to turn into.
What's his archetype?
Okay, so he is a exemplar, and his archetype is effectively anti-paladin.
Ah, okay, got it.
So he's a champion of the a pantheon of evil deities that are all focused on creatures of the night. It's literally the pantheon called like Children of the Night is the name of the pantheon.
Okay.
So Urgathoa is like the prime god, but there's other gods that are powerful gods, you know, like the god of like, there's 2 vampire gods in there. There's a werewolf creature vampire. And then there's like 2 East Asian.
Sure, a bunch of bad moves.
Yeah.
You could dip into Bard a little bit, and then you can create, during all this downtime, a collection of xylophones.
Oh my God.
Just like go grave robbing and get rib cages and then get them tonally appropriate. I think that's a great idea for an undead bard.
So, you know, I could.
Well, yeah, that's, you know, just like
own skeleton.
You're just bored one day because there's too much downtime and you're not sleeping and you just go bing, eureka. And then you go grave robbing. Profit.
He wields a katana, so maybe he like taps it with his sword.
Yeah. Does he have like a whetstone on top of one particular rib, and that's how he sharpens his katana?
That would be actually kind of cool. Or maybe just like attached to his arm, so he's like shing.
Yeah. So remember that last video we did that was under an hour? I don't think this one's going to be that.
Nah.
Let's talk about monsters.
Strap in.
2 of them. 2 monsters to talk about. It says so right here on the cover.
All 2 of them. So what Eric and I did is we went through the book and we basically just picked monsters we thought were cool, I think.
You want to talk about how we build our lists?
Yes.
Okay. Typically, I try to do something different with each of my top 5 lists just to keep it interesting so people don't get bored and it's too predictable. I noticed something really early on as I was flipping through the pages is that this did not feel like Monster Core 1 in any way, shape, or form for me. And it makes sense because Monster Core 1 is the basic stuff. Your goblins, your trolls, your maybe not hags, but your other just basic D&D type monsters. Do you remember the bestiaries from first edition? There were like 6 of them, I think. And as you went further into the bestiary series, they just got thematically more and more different. So like Bestiary 4 was the Cthulhu Book of Monsters.
Okay.
And I think Bestiary 6 was like, that was the Devil Book. And you had all that infernal shit on the front cover.
Eric, I've been a forever player for so long that I don't...
You don't read the books anyways. You just go to Archives of Nethys.
Know what any of that means.
Gotcha. Okay.
Like,
well, they're super thematically linked. I think there was like a Alice in Wonderland kind of monsters for the Tanes.
I don't think I even own them.
First edition books? No, you don't, do you?
Bestiary 1, 2, and 3.
They're there. Yeah.
And I used them maybe once.
Yeah, the reason why I bring that up is for the first one, you're always going to get the basics, right? So what do you do for the second? How does the follow-up work?
Right.
And these were just weird. These were like planar creatures. They were heavy on the what do you call it? The Cthulhu type creatures, aberrations. A lot of what do they call that in Pathfinder? That's the Black Veil.
The dark tapestry.
The dark tapestry. Lots of dark tapestry critters in here.
Mhm.
There were, God, what was it? It was spacey stuff. It was planar stuff, and just sort of like the oddball stuff. So I
Fucking
had to have
weird
my
monsters.
5 categories kind of reflect that. And my 5 categories, and I picked one from each.
Oh God.
My planar pick, the most interesting planar critter in
Okay.
here. My favorite aberration pick. My favorite classic pick, because there were still some classic critters in here.
Mm-hmm.
They wouldn't all fit in the first book, so they spilled over. I have a category called "What the fuck am I even looking at? Did they actually do this right now?" It's super hyphenated,
Okay.
and it's amazing. I love it. And then my favorite template, because we got a gang ton of templates in
Yeah,
this
we did.
book, and
We
I was really
absolutely did.
happy for it. So I picked one from each of those. That's my top 5. It's not really a top 5. It's just these are the 5 categories I noticed in the book, and each one gets a representation. And I've got a couple of shout outs and observations as well. So
Okay.
that's how mine breaks down.
Well, let's do the shout
about
outs
yours?
first
Okay.
before we jump into our top 5s.
Okay.
I didn't have a system for going through these.
Uh-huh.
I read my first sit down with this book was about a week ago. I read it from front cover to back cover.
Uh-huh.
Let me rephrase. I looked at the pages from the front cover to the back cover, and if
Mhm.
anything popped out at me, I read the entry.
Mhm.
And then yesterday, I read the book from back to front. And not page for page, again, just reading the things that popped out to me
Sure.
that seemed
Skimming it.
interesting. And I did that twice. The first time I made all my picks. The second time I just was checking to see if I didn't miss anything. And I added one thing.
Mhm.
So for me, it was like, is the art evocative?
The answer is always yes.
Is the art? No, I mean, some of the art is just kind of mid. Or like the idea of the monster just doesn't excite my brain.
Sure. Yeah.
Because I'm in the middle of coming up with one shots right now,
Mhm.
like a series of one shots for my players. You are one of those people. And I was asking myself, like, which one of these monsters gets me excited to put them in a one shot?
Mhm.
That's kind of, I guess, if I had any framework, that's kind of where my mind was.
Okay. That's a good place to be.
So my picks, I have 6, so I guess I'll make one of them an honorable mention.
Sure.
My 6 picks are just interesting creatures that could make a BBEG or create an interesting part of a story. They don't
Okay.
have to be like the bad guy or even the big bad evil guy, but they would make the game more interesting.
Okay.
I think.
I think that is
Yeah.
decent criteria.
So Eric
Absolutely.
went full hog, and I, just kind of winged it. Yeah. So let's jump into it. Eric, give me your honorable mentions.
Honorable mentions. So, for those of you goblins out there that really like to push my buttons, there are 3 ways you can do so. Let's see if Robert can name them. What are the 3 things that bother me? Not just about Pathfinder, but TTRPGs in general in the fantasy area.
Oh, I was going to say elves, investigators, and swashbucklers.
Investigators, swashbucklers, and there's a third.
Elves.
Nope, it's mimics.
Wait, really?
There's a food mimic in this book,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's called a sportle boar. It even sounds like a fucking Pokemon.
Okay.
It's the goofiest thing with the goofiest artwork, and it makes so much sense in a high fantasy setting like this.
It does.
For those to exist. But goddamn, if I don't like look inside my refrigerator and assess before I reach in for that, string cheese bit,
What I love about
it
this,
creeped me out.
what I love about the Sportlevore,
Mhm.
it didn't end up on my list, but I was like, that's a novel idea.
Yeah.
It's a monster when presented by itself is not an encounter, a trap, a hazard.
Sure.
It's a hazard when there's one of them, and
Mhm.
then they give you a swarm of them.
Yep.
And I was like,
And that'll make me sleep easier.
that's the most interesting monster entry
was kinda
I've
cool.
seen
Yeah.
in this whole book.
Yeah.
Like from a
Yeah.
design perspective.
You could do that for like things that naturally swarm. I don't know. I guess I'm thinking piranhas.
a single roach
Mhm.
would not be a hazard on its own.
Mhm.
But because the Sportlevore, when you eat it, poisons you and
Yeah.
it tries to hide as food, to me that's a trap
Yeah.
waiting to happen. I just thought it was really interesting.
Yeah. Worm that walks, sportobores.
Mm.
Like an apple tree of swarming- No, just
Of
no.
fruit
So
snacks?
that's my honorable mention. It's just,
Dude,
I'm surprised you didn't just like
it's a
rub that in
worm-
all over my face on this one.
a worm that walks, but it's all made of carnivorous fruit snacks.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
here for it.
Good times, good times.
I love it. Okay. What are your
So that was my first one. Did you
Okay.
have any? Or you just have the one, number 6?
I have one number 6. I'll do
Okay.
that last.
All right. I'm going to move into observations real quick for this. I get it. I understand the decision around this, but it still bugs the shit out of me because I'm still a 5-year-old boy until I die. There's dinosaurs in this book, and I love dinosaurs in my D&D, but they only go up to level 11 in Pathfinder. The biggest, baddest Spinosaurus, that's the big baddie in here, it's a level 11 dinosaur. Dragons need to be the higher if you're going to have scales. I get that. Brand, it's on point. But there's so much about dinosaurs in Pathfinder 2nd edition. They even did an entire adventure path around it early on. And they only, Extinction Curse was all dinosaurs.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And, but they only go up to level 11 in these $70 books. And that just feels like a weird thing for me to sit with. I'm not okay with this, but I understand that 15th level, I want to talk about dragons.
Yeah, they're just non-magical. That's the thing. They're not magical.
Not
If
all
you
of them
make
are.
them,
If you go to Chiliax, there's like a flaming T-Rex in one of the books.
that's true.
They
But
just
they take a dinosaur and they make it
they
magic.
took vanilla dinosaurs, and that's all you have in here. You don't have the dinosaur template that lets you do things like the other templates do,
Right.
which is what I want to see. I want to see a magical template that can apply those kinds of powers to groupings like dinosaur or aberration.
You know, if we extrapolate level to power level, there's power level 1 and power level 20. Maybe what this is implying is that in the Pathfinder setting and universe, things that are the apex predators, the apex non-magical predators, cap at about 11 power. And
Okay.
anything higher than 11 power has to have a magical influence of some kind.
Okay.
I could buy that in a high fantasy setting.
I know Extinction Curse in the very last book had this tribe of like bipedal T-Rex people. And they were like level 19 and stuff like that. So
God damn it, dude.
I just...
If the dude, I tell you, the writers of this book, the writers of there's got to be a designer. Paizo, please tell me, there has to be a designer that has read the Malazan series. Slick and I are so convinced. There's so many. One of the. Okay. Diatribe, real quick.
He's exploding over here.
One of the peak, one of the founding races, the oldest race of beings in the Malazan series. I can't even pronounce their name. They're like, I can't.
I think it's pronounced lizard men from Warhammer Fantasy.
No, they're literally.
They usually are.
They're literally velociraptors, but with razor blades for hands. And they've like created this huge civilization and technology.
Like skinks rise to power.
Literally.
Yeah.
That's literally what it is.
Yeah.
Except they're super intelligent and like 8 feet tall. Paizo, what designer? Tell me. Which one of you are Malazan fans? I need to know. Yep. Anyway, that was my diatribe.
So that's one of 3. 2 more are kind of like, I'm calling them headcanon shots because they alter my headcanon. The first one is the phase dragon art in here. It's just a souped up greyhound. Look at it. Tell me you don't see a greyhound with wings. That leads me to believe that is the patron saint of the Shuni ancestry. So my headcanon now has all Shunis in Golarion. They're like the kobolds to this specific dragon. That is a fucking dog with wings. It looks like the Hound Archon, but a greyhound version of it.
Can I tell you what it reminded me of?
Yeah, what do you got?
It's the Silver Surfer dragon.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. No, you were too young for Silverhawks. But yeah, very, very much.
I just saw it and I'm like, oh, it's Silver Surfer dragon.
So phase dragon, yeah. Kobolds are to regular dragons as Shuni are to phase dragons.
Okay.
So number 3 is another headcanon shot I got in my head, the Whisper Dragon. I think it's the patron saint dragon of halflings and farmers because it looks like a goddamn wheat stalk.
It does.
The coloring and everything. It's a shaft of wheat.
It does.
With rage issues.
It does.
So that is my new headcanon. In my Edgewatch game, there will be a Whisper Dragon, and it will be living in Copperwood.
Okay, wow.
Yeah. So if you're in my game, forget all of that. Just act surprised. Okay.
Well, I'm gonna pretend that I knew that and say that the Whisper Dragon is my number 6. While we're on the topic,
I mean, I like the Whisper Dragon.
Whisper Dragon's cool,
but it's grain.
Yeah,
it's a grain dragon.
Yeah. So the thing that drew me to the Whisper Dragon to begin with is the fact that it had that unique design aesthetic.
Yeah.
Right. So it's got these long, spindly, like stalks shooting up from every sharp edge. Every corner on this dragon has like a long, thin whisper,
like a foxtail,
like a whisker to it. They look like whiskers to me. It looks like a typical Chinese dragon in the sense it's a long, thin snake-like dragon.
They really went that route with a lot of these. Yeah.
But it doesn't have a lot of the typical, maybe the posing of it, but it doesn't look like one of those. Well, actually, the typical Chinese dragons have
got the face whiskers too.
Yeah, it does have the face whiskers, but they don't have wings normally. They just fly magically by like serpenting through the air. This one does have wings, and they're wings as arms. So it's a cool combination of those two styles together.
Yeah, it feels like a dragon insect because I'm seeing like a cross between centipede and
absolutely
what's the other one I was thinking. Yeah, it's just got a lot of insectile quality to it, and also it's a part of the major food groups.
So whisper dragons are keen collectors of rumors and secrets who spend centuries honing their information networks and relationships. I love this part. They generally do so not out of an intent to hold the information over others or to use their own machinations, but simply because the process of learning and gathering information is fulfilling. Their hoards are sparse compared to those of other dragons as they hold their true treasures, secrets, in their minds. Now, I know
it's the journey, not the destination.
Now, I know that Paizo says they don't use AI, but there's a lot of ellipses in this paragraph, Eric, and we all know that ellipses mean AI.
You were bitching about M dashes, not ellipses.
Oh, is there a difference?
Well, that was your original argument. You can tell it's AI because of all the
M dashes. That wasn't my argument. That was the meme on TikTok. All right.
Well, anybody who's ever read 19
people the stomach, they're gonna pay for that, Eric.
Put that shirt down. Lots of green foot wrestling.
Gave you a little taste. I'm gonna have to blur that out for YouTube. But yeah. So anyway, like I love the idea of this compulsion they have to collect secrets, and the reason it got back on my list. So this is the only one that got on my list the second read through, third, I guess, and that's because I reread all of the descriptions for the dragons. Because you know I love dragons.
Yeah, and everybody wants to see those first.
Absolutely. We have new dragons. You know, we don't have chromatic dragons anymore. And after reading it, it absolutely checked my box for being a monster that I could see in a one-shot.
Oh, totally.
Or at least as a pivotal character in a one-shot, an important character. I mean, it could be a quest giver. It could be the end of a quest. Maybe the quest is to go get a piece of information, and the only place the players find out that they can find that piece of information is from a whisper dragon.
Yeah.
And they have to trade a piece of knowledge to the whisper dragon for that other secret.
I like that. You know how like in like Batman's a good example of this, vigilante stories, you have the hardened detective. They're the one who's doing it by the book. They have the authority to do the thing they are doing.
Okay.
And then there's the vigilante who has the same end goal in mind. And they're both trying to get the same thing done, but obviously one's a vigilante and one's, a popo. When I read this Whisper Dragon, I was thinking immediately of the Conspirator Dragon.
Yeah.
From Monster Core 1. Secrets, whispering, journey. That just feels like, is this just derivative of the Conspirator Dragon? And then I looked a little closer and saw that they're two sides of the same coin. So exactly what you said, but they're playing a game against one another.
Oh.
And they have the same end goal, but one is hyper-focused on conspiracy, and then the other one is the journey and the secrets and the releasing of things into the world. It's very Buddhist, this dragon. It's not Buddhist, but Zen. So that's kind of I worry as we go through the timeline of Paizo products and any TTRPG in general about the redundancy of ideas.
Yeah.
And I felt like we hit that a little too soon until I thought about it just a little bit more. And those are the two draconic examples I could think of.
Wow, that's a great example. Sweet. So yeah, Whisper Dragon, fucking lit.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, and every one of these dragons in Monster Core 1 and 2, they have an NPC unique named dragon.
Yes.
And you should do that with dragons. I mean, every single dragon, regardless of the type, should be able to pass the silhouette test. That's my opinion. You don't need to give it 27 letters to its name and like 3 vowels in it.
Right.
So
you want to talk about the third party? You want to talk about that named character?
Sure. Again, Paizo names. I always get them wrong. Naizraa, Niazra. The Whisper Dragon Niazra resides in a sumptuous palace high on the bluffs of northern Kadira's Saray coast. She keeps a close eye on the intrigues of Kadira's nobility and sometimes offers her patronage to talented individuals seeking information or influence in exchange for a secret of their own. Super vanilla, zero interesting in there for me, but I'm glad it's there anyways because I think they should have representation that is unique to them. I don't want to see that for the devils. I don't want to see that for the goblins. I know, sacrilege. But for dragons, I think it's necessary.
Cool. Well, I just gave up my number 6.
Okay.
So I think you should start us off with your top 5.
Top 5. Why don't we begin with my planar choice?
Okay.
We're going to start strong on this one. This is my favorite of the list, so feel free to turn this episode off when I'm done talking. Robert will not be offended.
My views. The views.
Okay, so my planar pick is the Sahkil, Sakhil, page 275. These are extra planar bad guys. They do what I think fantasy is supposed to do.
Oh, shit.
It answers my question, how is fantasy different from sci-fi? How is fantasy different from romance, from mystery, from thriller, from Western? All the different genres, not the sub-genres within the genres, but the actual genres. What does fantasy do that the others can't do or don't do well? And the answer is, it's super simple. It's the physical manifestation of abstract concepts. In fantasy, you can take gluttony and you can make it manifest into a physical character like they did in Rise of the Rune Lords. The whole Pixar film, Inside Out, that's fantasy because they made physical manifestations for abstract concepts.
Okay.
That is literally what the genre is. If anybody asks, that's the answer. There's no other. There are other things it does, but that's the thing it has that no other genre can lay claim to. That's its superpower. So what is the Sahkil? Ages ago, when this cycle of the multiverse was in its adolescence, a coterie of psychopomps who felt bored and restrained in their role of ushering souls to the ultimate resting place rebelled against their station. These guys feel like Sahkils are to psychopomps as maybe daemons are to demons and devils. It feels like a subgrouping of psychopomp in a way that a daemon is kind of a subgrouping of a demon or devil.
I thought daemons were pure evil. And
they're
not
neutral
like
evil in the old one. Yeah. So there's a lawful evil devil. There's a chaotic evil devil. We call them demons. And there's a neutral evil devil, but we call them daemons. And they're different metaphysically.
Yeah, okay.
But that's the artistic breakdown.
I'm tracking now. Yeah, I'm tracking.
And for Psychopomp, they didn't really have a civil war per se. They just had some guys way back in the early years, prehistory, go, yeah, I'm bored and trafficking these souls and getting them where they need to be. That's not my jam, so I'm going to fuck off over here. And they hate mortals, but they're not like aggressively at war with them or anything like that. So there's sort of like a passive hatred. It was my read on it. You know, it's kind of like the 1,000-year-old vampire. When you get to be of a certain power and a certain age, they look at us like we're ants. You know, I don't really need to put the energy into despising you because you are as an ant to me.
Yeah.
That's what these guys are, only in the psychopomp context. So they, that's cool in and of itself, right? I like psychopomps. I know you have a hard on for psychopomps.
I do.
Everybody else does too, because it's just, they look great. They serve an important function in the cosmology of the setting we all love. It's good for all those reasons. But Physical manifestation of abstract concepts.
Okay.
You know what these motherfuckers do? The Esipils, they are representative, who they are, what they are. They represent fear among those who live with animals that could turn on them.
Oh, that's why it looks
That
like
phobia.
a dog. Yeah. Okay, got it.
The Nuke-holes, fear of parasites and contagion.
Yep.
The Wisaks, fear of insects and creeping, crawling vermin.
It's literally...
They're demons, but more parental advisory.
Yeah, I was going to say
about it.
That one specifically you just mentioned, the Wisak, is the art is literally a grasshopper for a head, like the whole
Not
body of
subtle
a
at all, is it?
grasshopper. And then the rest of it is an alien body that's terrifying.
Yeah, see, the demons don't look like the things they represent.
Right.
They just look like whatever they look like.
They look like demons.
These guys, what you see is what you get, and that's fucking terrifying.
Right.
Because, they've got the hit points to back it up. The Pakalchis, they strive to intensify their prey's inherent insecurity over personal and emotional bonds. Sound like anybody we game with? Does it sound like you, me, you?
Yeah.
It sure does. So they strive to intensify their prey's inherent insecurity over personal and emotional bonds, playing on the threat of those relationships falling into ruin. How in a really creepy, scary way is that? That is so conflicting to me emotionally as I absorb my my fantasy, right? Moving on to the Zimtals, and all these names I'm giving you, they're escalating in power from like level 1 to 20, whatever the ones
Zimtals are level 17, for instance.
17, there we go. So that means we're almost done. And Robert can talk. The Zimtals, they represent the struggles of loneliness and anxiety that accompanies it.
Yeah.
Ouch. And the Keyman halls, which are my favorite.
Hold on. What do they look like, Eric?
Shit, you got it open. I do not.
Yeah. What do they look like? Describe it to the...
Okay, I'm looking at a sort of like a scorpion-like carapace on the back, and there's a pair of twin tentacles ending in clawed hands. So that's shooting out the ass end.
Mm-hmm.
Out the front end, this is sort of like a dog hermit crab, only long and sanguine in shape. And it's got like the Chinese dragon whisker tentacles that are coming off. But it also has the arachnid six legs, kind of like a drider. And it has a gray and purple theming.
Mm-hmm. And so how does that represent you said they all had a direct representation. I'm just
which one was that? The Zimtals?
That's the Zimtals. Yeah, I'm trying to figure this out. Loneliness and anxiety that accompanies that.
Everything you're looking at creates anxiety.
Oh, yeah.
Things that skitter, things that hide in a crab, things that you can't quite see. It's not entirely one creature. It's a composite, like a Necrot composite of creatures. There's also the dog who's not friendly. Mm-hmm. And it's not snarling at me, but it doesn't look friendly. Anxiety. I got anxiety with everything.
Yeah, the Nuke-hole is literally a boar that's diseased.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if that was a demon, it could be the demon of anything that happened to be diseased.
Yeah.
And finally, we had the Kimenhuls.
Which I can't even describe.
They work their craft to foment despair in those who feel failure, forming cycles of self-loathing. This is the demon patron bad guy of imposter syndrome, basically.
Oh my God, yeah, you're right.
I fucking love Sahkils. They are now, as of this recording, my favorite extraplanar creature.
Holy shit.
Supplanting all the dream shit I've been going on about it since the birth of 2nd edition.
Okay, gotcha.
Fantasy, what does it do? It makes manifest what is metaphorical.
Wow.
It corporealizes things that didn't have bodies before. That's the strength of our hobby. And this is how we can navigate and become more empathetic with one another because we are interacting with these guys in our imaginations. So that is my starting strong.
All right, so I'm going to start with my number 5 then.
Yeah.
My least favorite out of my favorites.
Cool, and we'll meet in the middle.
We'll meet in the middle.
For medium impact.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
I need to retain these viewers for as long as possible.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, the Carnivorous Blob.
Okay, it sounds great so far.
Yep. So the Carnivorous Blob is it was the only picture that I saw that had a building in it.
I'm guessing it's an ooze, right?
Yeah, it's a giant ooze.
Is this that giant one on the cover of the Slithering adventure?
No,
It's like swallowing a city on its way through.
I don't think it's the same one, but it's probably. I don't know what's on the Slithering. But
tell me more.
Yeah, the Carnivorous ooze is an ooze. It's like an extra dimensional creature, not extra dimensional, but like a creature, an aberration from the stars that land on a planet, and then when something living gets close enough to it, it jumps out and begins consuming it. And then it activates, starts trying to find more living material for 24 hours. And then if it can't, it goes back into a dormant state and then waits for another living creature to get close enough for it to consume and start the process over again.
Isn't this the color out of space story?
Yeah, it is. It's literally just a color out of space creature. It's amazing.
I love it.
And what's cool about it is just like a regular blob, when you try to cut it or destroy it, it breaks off into pieces. And if one little piece gets to escape and hide away, then it can lay dormant forever.
It's a symbiote costume.
Exactly. Yeah. And then like jump out again. To me, again, I'm looking at this.
Dude, that's it's
kind of cool.
It is. I'm thinking about like the 300 hours of Halo I just did with the flood running around.
There you go.
Like a single spore can destroy a world.
Exactly. So the way I thought about it is like, this could, in the context of a one shot, again, that's kind of my framework for looking at all this stuff. This could be the beginning and end of the whole adventure. You know, you could start off with the threat of it, find out about the threat, and then be presented the threat. Do you overcome the threat? You could, an information giver or the quest giver could be like, hey, I heard stories about this thing. Can you go find out more information about it? The players go find out more information about it. While they're doing that, there's a clock they don't know about that's ticking. They gather information. They find out that it's a carnivorous ooze, so a carnivorous blob, and they find out about all of its abilities through checks and maybe combat, fighting people or something like that. And then when they finally find out how big of a threat it is to the town that they're in, boom, something happens in the town. They go run and they find out that thing has actually escaped, or, you know, the bad guy has brought it into the town and set it loose on the town or whatever. And the adventure could either be them racing against the clock to stop it from consuming the town, or it could be them just trying to destroy it and kill it before it overcomes the town. Or it could even be, you know, they leave the town to gather the information and they come back and the ooze is consuming the town. And instead of being able to defeat it, they have to run damage control on it.
Sure.
And they have to save as many people as possible.
I like that. That's definitely more my speed.
Yeah.
I like anything that comes with the cost, no matter what. But the cost of losing is just so much worse.
Right.
So that's interesting, because that's where the cool little moral choices are as you try to figure out who you can help, because you can't be everywhere at once.
Do I
right?
save the
old man with the dog or the burning orphan?
Exactly. Do I save the orphanage or do I save the school?
It's a trick question. You save the dog and get the fuck out of there.
Oh, there you go. There you go. A dog man, everyone.
Yeah.
So Carnivorous Blob, it's just a fun, interesting,
massive in scope.
Massive.
I mean, it doesn't just affect you and the other 4 mooks you're running with.
Yeah.
It's everybody in this geographic area.
It is its own self-contained threat. Perfect for a one shot.
Yeah. It's also apocalyptic on a small scale.
Yeah.
You don't have a lot of those.
That's a good point. Yeah.
I for some reason, I was thinking of the adventure playing out in my head is sort of like a 2-parter, where part 1 is the whole thing goes in reverse. Like the blob consumes everything.
Oh.
And then you basically just go backwards in time, essentially, from scene 3 to 2 to 1 to 0. And 0 is when you come into the town and you're getting ready to learn everything. It's the start of the adventure. But there's a chrono mage there. And then you experienced it in reverse, so you know what's going to happen. And the whole point of the second half or the second adventure is to make different decisions for a different outcome.
That's cool.
I think we should do that with our Chronomancer and our Patreon.
That sounds a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Sweet. So what's your number 4?
Do I have a number 4? No, that was it. Okay, moving on to number 4. This is my Don't look at me like that.
I'm like, what?
Don't look at me in that tone of voice.
He said he was done, everyone.
This is my aberration pick because planar and aberration, those are the 2 notes that this book hit over and over and over again.
Okay.
And I'm going to be shocked if this wasn't on your list. The Goblin Snake.
It wasn't. It was not.
Don't you always give me shit for not picking like the goblin choices?
There was one goblin choice, and I knew you would pick it, so I skipped it.
Okay. I identify with that
That's
logic.
my giga brain.
Page 168. Let's take a look. Boys and girls. 168.
Goblins and ghouls.
This is just... I like this for a lot of reasons.
Okay.
So if it was just a goblin thing, I'd be like, oh, okay, that's cute, and move on. And it would get nowhere near my top 10. But this is in the list, and it beat out all the other aberrations, of which there were many tasty, and revolting aberrations.
Delicious.
Yeah.
Delicious aberrations.
So let's talk about the Goblin Snake. The first thing to note is that it's a creature 4.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you playing at home, I'm sure you've noticed that goblin options tend not to go over creature 1.
True.
Once you start getting into 2 and 3, you start getting into like specialized goblin type. So like not the warriors, but the guy who leads the warriors. The pyromancers, the war chanters. You know,
they're adding class levels to a monster.
Stuff like that, right. But this is a goblin 4 creature with the goblin tag or trait, what the fuck ever, for that one guy in there who's going to call me on it.
This is Jimmy. And he's our buddy. And it's just like multi-headed hydra with goblin heads.
Yeah. Bugbears are 2.
Yep.
And when you start reaching into like bugbear chieftains, you get into 4 territory. Mm-hmm. When you hit 3 and 4 for goblinoids, you start getting into the elite hobgoblins.
Oh my God, Eric.
So
we need, okay, Eric.
Okay.
First off, you have to read Goblin Slayer.
Uh-huh.
It's a manga. Mm-hmm. As part of Goblin Salvage, that's got to be
I'm familiar with it. I haven't read it.
Okay. Trigger warning, essay. But besides that, if you get through the first couple chapters, it's excellent. We could literally have a Goblin Salvage Rites adventure path where goblins are the antagonist throughout the entire 1 to 20 adventure path. Mm-hmm. It's just they keep getting more and more interesting and dangerous.
Scaling the goblins?
Yes, exactly.
Scale over that wall. And it's
what does a 20th
wall.
level goblin look like? What does a 15th level goblin look like?
Here, bitches. So back to the Goblin Snake. It's a creature 4. For starters. So these bizarre mutant goblin snakes possess no fewer than 3 heads. So it's kind of like a hydra thing.
It's a hydra.
It's a naga. It's a hydra. It's goblins. It's a Venn diagram of things. And it sounds goofy as shit, and the artwork certainly supports that statement. There's a derpy guy who reminds me of Ed from The Lion King at the bottom. And then, of course, you got Scar on the other one. So it's
every
exactly
hydra has to have a derp head.
Yeah, right. Do you remember that meme of Tiamat?
Yeah.
Okay, so they're uncommon, medium, aberration, goblin mutants, whatever. They have, what are my notes here? I had specific notes on these guys.
He has notes. Goblins and ghouls.
So creature 4 goblin in a system where a level 4 is simply better hobgoblins, bugbears, and non-goblin greenskin specialists and uniques. Unique goblins like NPCs and bosses and stuff like that. They have a couple of abilities that are goofy, and I tend not to do the cartoony goofy. Mm-hmm. I tend to detest that, but this is fucking amazing. First one's called Incessant Yammering.
Incessant Yammering.
Auditory aura linguistic, 15 feet. A gob snake's heads constantly bicker and snipe at one another, annoying and distracting anyone nearby. Each non-goblin creature that begins its turn in the area must attempt a 21 will save. On a failure, it takes a -1 status penalty to perception checks and will saves for 1 round. On a success, they're temporarily immune for 1 minute. So they fight with each other and argue. That's an old Etten trope, that 2-headed giant. And okay, we're still in goofy cartoon territory. I don't give a shit yet. Their next ability is called infighting. This one's kind of fun. Whenever a gob snake critically fails at an attack roll or skill check, it must succeed a DC 5 flat check or become slowed 1 as its heads argue over which of them is to blame. An enemy can provoke an argument by attempting a DC 20 deception check as a single action with the auditory, concentrate, linguistic, and mental traits.
Okay,
so,
dude.
Again, goofy as fuck, but we've all seen
These
The Hobbit.
These are the kind of abilities that make a character built around learning about opponents actually fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Like, if you can be like, wait a minute, guys, these are goblin snakes. If we convince them to start bickering with each other, we could just leave.
Yeah. And Gandalf did it in the 60s. We can do it here.
Exactly.
So and we're still in cartoon territory.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, it's fun, it's amusing, and it's awesome to talk about, but I would never use it in my game yet until we reach the reaction, Coiled Strike, as a Goblin Snake. So I started playing that movie in my head. You come up on this guy, and they're arguing with each other, 4 heads about what they're going to do. One of them notices you and says, hey, guys. And then they all notice you, and then they start arguing about what to do about the fact that they noticed you.
Right.
One guy wants to cut your head off and use it for a stew pot. Another guy wants to take a nap because they just did that to somebody else 20 minutes ago. Another one's just bored. So they're fighting, right? Great. Incessant yammering pops up, and we make our saves, blah, 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 whatever. And now we're either confused or slowed, all that stuff. And then they start getting irate, as we goblins are meant to do.
Mm-hmm.
And they start fighting amongst each other. And here we are waiting for that moment, and they're fighting and they're fighting and they're fighting, and we try to slip by. Nope. Coiled Strike. They lash out anyways, because at their heart, that's what they do. So there's this 1, 2, 3 action economy, which includes the reaction, that makes for a mind movie when you stack them all together. Individually, this isn't anything to write home about, and it's kind of dumb. But when you pack them all together, 3 silly ideas on their own can become one pretty rad movie to play in your head. And that's where the GMs need to figure out how to get that entire action cycle through so the players can absorb it and go, oh shit, this isn't just like Bugs Bunny and Goofy hanging out in the field, waylaying passengers, waylaying visitors and killing them.
There's no rabbit season, duck season going on.
No. Nothing like that. So for the aberrations, it's a level 4 goblin. We just don't get those, so I love it for that reason. It's funny. It's goofy because humor in my dark stories.
Does it say how they're created?
Let's see. Indolent overlords. The exact nature of the relationship between goblins and hobgoblin snakes is a matter of some contention, with some goblins viewing the creatures as minor demigods or the ascended gods of fallen heroes, the others viewing them as abominations to be destroyed on sight. A goblin snake fortunate enough to find a goblin community of the former treats its adoring followers as inferiors, if not outright servants, and expects them to ply it with regular offerings of food and valuables. So no, there's nothing in here that says anything about their origins.
So much.
But they are aberrations, so you can use your imagination on that. I fucking love the Gobmob snake, and
just for the readers, it's Goblin. The official title is Goblin Snake.
Gobmob snake.
Oh, fuck.
It's a mob of goblins on a snake.
But the title of the thing is Goblin Snake. That's what confused me.
Gotcha. Because
there is a goblin snake.
A Gobmob snake is a type of goblin snake. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, okay. I got
so
confused.
The Goblin Snake is a creature 1, and the Gobmob is like a hydra version of it, I guess.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
So
what's its intelligence?
Not good.
Really?
-2.
Okay, so it's not
and a regular goblin snake is also -2s. They're the same level of brightness.
But they're like a 6 intelligence. They're not like a 2. So they're actual like sentient creatures.
Yeah, like children maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. So yeah, it's pretty much unheard of for silly plus silly plus silly to equal this is good, and people are going to remember this in my horror game.
Right.
That's not nothing.
That colored in a horror game would be terrifying.
Yeah, especially with that artwork. That artwork is pure horror, even with the goofy shit on the bottom.
Yeah.
So that is my number 4. What do you have?
Numero quattro.
Number 2? You're going... No, I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're going 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, we'll get there eventually.
Okay. Goblin math. It's hard, you guys.
The Migos. He's one of the amigos.
We're back in Lovecraft country.
As you say. So this is page 221. Migos are both scientists and colonists, yet their extraterrestrial nature and malevolent motives color their investigations with cruelty. While their shape resembles that of an arthropod, Migos are, in fact, not your amigo, highly evolved and intelligent fungus.
They're your imago.
So, in Migo society, the pursuit of secular knowledge and religious epiphany has no distinction and inspires their pursuits in tandem. They're effectively like... okay, so this last sentence kind of sums it up. They view the outer gods and great old ones less as gods to obey and more as muses or figures of inspiration. This results in a strange blend of magic and technology they use to create bizarre organic items that are grown and spliced together in much as crafted in their traditional sense. There's a third paragraph. They're interdimensional Cthulhu scientists.
Yes. Literally, because that's where they come from.
Yeah. Who use, recently when Erik and I started doing, getting ready for our next one shot, I found a list of themes for adventures, and one of them was called graft punk or something like that.
I've never heard of that. Oh, like grafting.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Where it's like biological technology instead of like hard physical item technology. And that's what really jumped out to me here. Yeah. One of my favorite movies of all time is a movie called Arrival by Denis Villeneuve. And these guys, Arrival paints a picture of a benevolent, spoilers, of a benevolent alien race coming to humans, but are truly alien in nature. The whole story is about trying to understand their language and learning their language. The language of the Migos is very similar. They actually have it in the sign bar. It's a collection of colors and symbols in the air and pulsating and stuff like that. I just, again, going back to the one-shot thing, Amigo is, to me, a great inspiration for a very relatable BBEG. One of my biggest problems with BBEGs is
the mustache twirling nature of them.
Yeah. I've never met someone in real life who has bad intentions for the sake of bad intentions. You know, most bad intentions are what's seen as the good intentions, or at least the good for me intentions of an individual.
Sure.
So the fact that they are trying to aspire to some sort of technological superiority and revere these Cthulhu monsters and are trying to, like, they see them as muses and not gods, you know what I mean? This just painted the ultimate picture to me. Their stats, they have one cool ability. All the other one are kind of just like lame and non-thematic, in my opinion. They're only 6th level creatures. So they're the perfect BBEG for like the end of book 1 or a really good intro to the game, which I think is about like level 4 or level 6. Level 4 and level 6 turn into a really fun introduction to Pathfinder that isn't too complicated, but still gives you enough crunch to kind of get your, like, whet your appetite. And they make a great character and motive for a short story like that. It's a Migo that's, you know, the local town finds people and creatures that have been eviscerated and stuff like that in random parts of town. And there's a couple newcomers to town and you have to do like a whodunit. Who's the bad guy? Why are they eviscerating them? You finally find out that it's,
Amigo using their disguise ability.
Exactly. So, Amigo disguised as a human being or, a normal ancestry.
Yeah. Turns out it's a Nazi scientist the whole time.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. To me, it just gives like a, I don't know. I just really like the monster. It really appealed to me as a bad guy for a story. And that's what I'm looking for in a monster manual.
The short story that the Migos appeared in way back in the day, before any of us were alive, I never read it. So I only really know Migos from like the board games and the card games and the comics and all the other H.P. Lovecraft. It's H.P. Lovecraft.
This is a classic Lovecraftian creature?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's back from the...
Again, I'm not cultured. I don't read. I can't read. So.
Yeah, if you ever think of like the aberration, of which this apparently isn't.
I'm a fake nerd. Yeah.
That's okay. I barely knew what Goblin Slayer was.
Okay.
We can fake it with each other. We'll pass.
Yeah, you have real culture. I have anime culture.
Where was I going with that? They steal your brain and they put it in jars. That's kind of the typical Migo artwork that you find. So if you have any stories with like some weird insectile alien looking thing, that's obviously from a Cthulhu story. And there's like top shelf whiskey only has brains. You're in Migo territory. They're super scientific, just like you said. They're completely alien, unknowable. And when you started talking about like the not sympathetic, but like you could understand them, that would be an interesting spin on the Migo as a creature. The thing that got me on this one is what's the one trait that you think of when you think of Cthulhu type creatures? Which one trait tends to pop more than any other?
Aberration.
It's aberration.
And they're not. They're
It's not in here.
fungus.
It's fungus.
Yeah.
Maybe if I had read the short story like a good Lovecraftian child, I was not. I would have put that together.
So oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say this is a cool way to splice. Leveraging the fungus trait. Splice like primal stories, druid stories, the Wardens of Wildwood Adventure Path. Stuff that's more nature, kingmakery, and bring a little bit of Cthulhu in. It's creatures like this that share those tags.
It's like the occult. What happens when you blend occult tag and the primal tag?
Sure. Yeah. Oh, that's a great way to think about it. Yeah. I'm going to chew on that. I like that. Because of all the permutations.
We just played that Delta Green game where there was a infection from a great old one that spilled into some water. Exactly.
So this is like a fungal Cthulhu creature that is not an aberration, and I don't understand that.
The one ability they have that's actually interesting is called Eviscerate, and it just kind of like it's them trying to play up the mad scientist vivisectionist kind of nature of it.
Yeah.
The Migo performs a swift and painful surgery on a creature they have grabbed or restrained that's otherwise immobilized, attempting a medicine check against the target's fortitude DC. Love that. Regardless of the result, the target is then temporarily immune for 24 hours. On a success, the target takes 46 slashing damage and is slowed 1 for 1 round by the pain. On a critical success, the target takes 66 slashing damage, slowed 1 for 1 round, becomes clumsy 1, enfeebled 1, or stupefied 1. The Migo chooses for 24 hours. And my headcanon, the Migo begins to dissect you in the middle of the fight and literally removes your organ. If they critically succeed, you are now organless, or at least it's out of your body. And if they get a couple more rounds, you're dead. You know what I mean? They've just removed your organs. As someone who almost had his organs removed, that's terrifying.
You're just lucky your doctor was an amigo.
Secretly.
Yeah, you'd be in a couple of jars.
Well, he was an amigo because he went to Mexico.
Ah, I see what you did there. That's a clever play on words. You set us up for that like 5 minutes ago.
I did. Yeah, he went to Mexico for his vacation. Yeah. And that's why I waited another 3 weeks. Love you, Dr. K.
Thank you for not doing your surgery in Mexico. I hear that doesn't always work out well.
Yeah. So yeah, the Migo, that's my number 4. I just thought it was cool.
You don't usually pick Cthulhu type stuff for any of your picks in any of the books.
And that's the thing. It's one of the few Cthulhu picks that actually inspired me because they have
I like that. I like that a lot.
They had a motive that was more than just I'm evil doing evil things.
Right, and unknowable.
Yeah.
It's the alien thing that always bugged me. And then how do you interact with it except run?
Or fight it and die.
Yeah. It would be an interesting exercise to take all of the Cthulhu creatures and then compare their trait for trait to see where they overlap and more importantly where they don't.
Yeah.
So I have a number 3, I think. I lost count because Goblin math is hard. This is my classic pick. This is my category of things that could have been in Monster Core 1, but they ran out of space. And here we are.
They ran out of pages.
Yeah. Page 161, ladies and gents.
Oh, we're not far off.
Germs and jelly spoons.
Goblins and ghouls.
161.
I just got done going to the retro gaming con.
Yeah.
And I got to play so many old
I hear that's an amazing
video games. And I got to play, I played.
What's an old video game to you? I'm afraid to ask, and I'm going to cringe at the answer.
I literally played Pong on the original hardware.
Yeah.
Which was crazy.
Yeah.
It was just 2 dials that you turned. It was nuts.
Did you play Joust?
I did play Joust. I really low key love pinball machines for some reason. It's the ADHD and the blinking lights. And the shining and the sounds.
Totally get
and
it.
The little flippers that are so tactile. So I basically played every pinball machine, and there was.
Did they have Hercules?
Yeah, they had Hercules.
At the time, Hercules was the largest pinball machine on the planet, and when you go clack. The flippers, they're like, I don't want to. But when they hit the ball comes up and it cracks the glass every single time.
Okay, I don't think it was there.
It's
I don't think I did.
huge. Of course, I was like 9 when I played it, so maybe it just felt bigger.
Yeah, there was a company there I can't remember their name, but they were making new pinball machines with modern IP. So I got to play Guardians of the Galaxy pinball.
They're
and it's
fucking lit.
And it's all digital too.
Yep.
The screen is just a TV screen.
Yeah.
And then you have a pinball machine underneath of you, and you're like, it was so cool.
Yeah, Metallica
so cool.
and the Indiana Jones ones. Those are the two I kept going back to.
Yes.
I was kind of so-so on the Jurassic Park one, but I love those newer IP ones because it's boring to me to watch somebody play pinball.
Yeah.
But once these started hitting and I started watching all those cool little movies, it's almost like put an iPad in your kid's hands just to shut him up for the car ride home.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm that kid.
You can't bring a pinball machine in the car, unfortunately.
Yeah. So my vanilla pick for this is a spooky pick, and nobody should be surprised anywhere. It's the Ghostly Mob.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Yeah. So when a horrific tragedy results in mass death, the restless spirits of the numerous dead might arise as a ghostly mob. We have ourselves a troop trait or tag. And I think I just picked this because I'm still in love with the Battlecry book. And I want to see Book of the Dead and Battlecry come together and make a baby.
Yeah.
Troop types that leverage both of those. What would a
skeleton?
What would a
troop.
Forrest Gump level commander, fucking ghoul look like with a troop? You know, just cool shit like that. So why the ghostly mob? My phone keeps shutting down.
Oh,
Robert.
no.
I like the okay. So the troop type Battlecry plus Book of the Dead equals cream my goblin panties. Apparently, I wrote down.
You wrote that.
That's what it says. So it must be factual.
Creaming those goblin panties.
I read it in my notes. It must be correct.
This is definitely not made for children.
Yeah, and it's a bunch of ghosts in a swarm essentially, but it's a troop. But it's a swarm of ghosts. Not interesting, is it? How can it be interesting? And then I started thinking like a GM. So over here, we have the Echoes of Tragedy sidebar. The specific tragedy that created a ghostly mob might alter its abilities. For example, a ghostly mob spawned from a fire might have burning grasp rather than clutching hands, which deals fire damage instead of void damage. A ghostly mob created in an earthquake might have earth-shaking chorus rather than frightful chorus, which causes living victims to be slowed for one round rather than frightened. Being able to have the exact same stat block pass the silhouette test, depending on what adventure it's in. You didn't used to have that with D&D unless you threw templates on it. This is a way to have a template without using a template.
The recommended flavoring is what every stat block needs, honestly.
It really does. It totally does. And that's not intuitive for those of us that aren't spreadsheet brained. Like, it can only do void damage, right? It says so in the book.
Right.
I can't change that without worrying about am I breaking something. But this is kind of a peek behind that curtain.
Shifting its ability from frightened to slowed definitely increases the power.
But you can turn the dials down some elsewhere.
Yeah, I would just not, and there's hope for the best.
Yeah, but this is canon. This is core. So this is what we're working with. Yep. This ghostly mob, it's uncommon gargantuan, so it takes up a lot of real estate. Ghost incorporeal. I don't know a lot of ghosts that are corporeal, but maybe they exist. Troop, undead, and unholy. All the usual stuff.
That's a lot of tags.
8. And I can just see like a ghostly mob being a Siamese twin ghost. Just like make it, power it down, 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 down. Or it can be sort of like the entire village that got soul sucked by a demon lord that was passing by and needed to power its, turn up pliers. And and now it's gargantuan and bigger, just being able to scale stuff like this from level 1 to level 20 would be amazing.
I think a ghostly mob, like imagine you had like a Tarrasque level threat and you're following the literal footsteps of a Tarrasque, like a kaiju sized creature. And one of them is a ghostly mob formed from the small town that it just rampaged through randomly.
That it tripped over on
literally,
the way over?
Yeah, it stepped on. Yeah. You know what I mean? I think that'd be kind of interesting.
I love that. My third note for this is, quote, "Oh, and it fucking flies. This gargantuan troop of spook nasty fucking flies, and if you've never seen the Garfield Halloween special, then you know how terrifying that is."
I've never seen the
Garfield Halloween. You don't know how terrifying that is.
I've never seen it, but I can imagine how terrifying it is.
There are 3 things that give me nightmares.
Yeah.
There are sharks. There are Tyrannosaurus Rexes. So like dreams where I can't see the underneath me in the water.
Oh, gotcha.
I just assume there's a shark there, and if I don't wake up, there soon will be, because for some reason the only way I can manifest things into my fucking life is to scare the bejesus out of me by my subconscious. Dinosaurs, because dinosaurs. And the third one is that scene in the Garfield Halloween special where we're hiding in the closet and we get caught.
Interesting.
Google it.
Okay.
And remember, I was like 9 when I saw this last. So this gargantuan creature 8, big ass, takes up a lot of real estate on your map with a flying speed. That's not nothing. And you can build an epic scene around that with all the synergies of the 4 or 5 people around the table.
Absolutely.
I think it's a great set piece, and I want to see the miniature. I want to see that.
At level, I mean, making miniatures for a troop type would be interesting because you need to make 4 10x10s.
Yeah.
And make them 4 10x10 blocks that you can remove and move as chunks.
Did you ever play like
really
the Warhammer Epics?
No.
20 years ago by now. It was basically like mass scale Warhammer.
Oh, yeah.
And like you had like squads of minis or like 10 of them.
They're the size.
But they're like that tall.
Yeah. They're the
I don't know how they got painted.
epic scale. Yeah.
But yeah, I just love the idea of the ghostly mob, and I want to see easy scaling and swapping in and out of abilities. Like having this be a bunch of kobolds that died in a cave-in.
Right.
That I could use that in Edgewatch right the fuck now if I knew how to math that and convert things so that, now we have dark vision, where before, it might have been a human thing. Oh, but they're ghosts and so on and so forth. Ghostly mob is my classic choice for this.
Okay.
And this isn't even really vanilla at the end of the day.
Sweet.
What's your next one, yo?
Okay, that's got to be number 1. That's got to be number 2. Oh, I'm stuck between 2 and 3.
Yeah?
Got to flip a coin here. Erik, pick odds or evens?
Odds, always odds.
Okay, well, my next pick is Nosferatus.
We're deep with the spookies today.
Well, I mean, those are kind of the only interesting options, in my opinion. So, again, Robert's a fake nerd who doesn't know classic horror. So
I will try to keep my mouth shut on this one. We're going to go back to the 20s on this.
I know the origins of Nosferatu from a movie perspective. I've seen the movie, but that movie doesn't illustrate. That doesn't tell you where they come from.
No, it does not.
And I don't know if this is unique to Pathfinder, but they decided to make Nosferatus vampires who were created from a plague.
Okay.
Is that normal?
I don't know whether it is or is not.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
I
do
just
know
assume
it's like
you're like the horror master. So
yeah, no, this
the
is
horror master,
master of horrors.
Yeah.
I think they call them pimps. But yeah, no, it's I think it's Slavic lore where they come from.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm guessing.
Anyway, Nosferatu are ancient vampires.
Yep.
Born of mortals who died in a great plague of old. Perhaps because of their old age, Nosferatus can't create more of their kind. So what's interesting to me is that they're turbo old. They are vampires that are created by a plague, which is different than how normal vampires are created. And it hints at the fact that more can't be created. And if they could be created, it would have to be from some super magic. Like to me, I read those 2 sentences. And I thought to myself immediately, oh, dude, a Nosferatu who's like a scientist, like an alchemist or a wizard or something like that, who's trying to engineer the next plague to create more Nosferatu.
That is remarkably similar to what they did with the Shades of Whatever adventure path. That's
the new vampire one?
Yeah, the new vampire one. You were talking about your Bloodlords game where you guys... you worship a bunch of gods, a bevy of gods that hang out together and drink beer? A pantheon, thank you, that's the word.
Hang out and drink beer.
Isn't one of them that vampire god?
Nin.
Vampire god of mathematics and...
It's the Nin, the god of
this AP goes into that,
science.
and that idea you just spat out,
sweet.
It just falls right into that particular
That sounds like a cool AP. I might actually want to run that. I'm kind of getting into...
I think it's a dungeon crawl?
I'm getting into vampires. I think they're kind of interesting.
We're going to have a lot of fun conversations.
Did I tell you that, okay, it's super tangent. I know we're like an hour into the podcast already, but we're like halfway done, so it's fair. I went to go buy like a new receiver for my audio setup in my living room, and this guy was basically like tearing his house apart and just selling a bunch of shit he didn't need anymore. And I looked over and I was like, oh, hey, Vampire the Masquerade. that's TTRPG. Are you into TTRPGs? And he's like, yeah, I tried playing it, but I couldn't really get the friends to get into it and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, all right, that's cool, man. Yeah, totally. Yeah, I got a little podcast. You should check it out. So I showed my podcast on him, and I bought the receiver from him, and I was about to leave, and he's like, hey, man, look, do you just like want this Vampire Masquerade book? And I'm like, sure. Yeah, I'll take it off your hands if you're just giving it away. So he just gave me like, it's around here somewhere.
Is it the one you gave me and put in my pile to take home, thinking it was mine?
Oh shit! Yeah, it
yeah.
was.
Okay, I'll leave that here.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I think that's the 5e Masquerade.
Is that the newest edition?
Yeah. Okay, 5e
cool.
is current one.
So like, it's funny. My partner Amy, she was like, I didn't know they had a vampire TTRPG. I would totally play the shit out of that. And then her and one of her girlfriends started reading through it, and they were like, there's a succubus vampire who feeds on the emotions of people. And I was like,
I am exploding inside.
I know you are. I can see it on your face. So anyway, they might be interested in a Vampire Masquerade like thing. Just FYI. Just pitch that. I don't know. You have the time.
No, fuck you. I do not. I need to find a job.
Oh yeah, by the way,
some of you goblins have been lovely about sending your recs. I appreciate each and every one of you.
Doobly-doo, hit us up in the comments.
Yeah.
Eric's looking for a job.
Get my ass employed so I can make shit for you.
So anyway, back to the Nosferatu vampire.
Yeah, before we leave the vampire thing too far, I've got like 5,000 cards for the card game,
cool.
Vampire: The Eternal Struggle, which is the card game version of this, but 2 editions ago. So I'm here for any of those conversations with your wife. Cool.
So long story short,
load off of you.
Nosferatu are weird. Like, we all know what they look like, right? They're tall. They kind of have like bat looking.
Ugly.
They have bat faces. They have long pointed ears.
They look like angry
bald
elves
heads.
Aged poorly.
Yeah. The other thing is their fangs are bucktooth. They're in the center. They're together and they're long over their mouth.
I always thought that was goofy as fuck.
It's super goofy.
Like rabbit vampires.
I mean, as a guy who has buck teeth myself, I've always...
You've been a Nos this whole time. Man, your obfuscation is just legendary.
I've been a Nosferatu the whole time. So what's interesting about them is like when you go to kill them, instead of turning into a gaseous cloud or a swarm of bats, they turn into a swarm of rats.
Sure.
They're so the plague theme, right? Their coffins have to have the soil of the plagued earth that they're from to be able to regenerate. And they just paint a picture of vampires that I've never like seen before. Sure. And I love the plague angle. Like, I've never thought of vampires as being plague themed. So that just made me really interested to apply this Nosferatu template to like a couple monsters or a couple creatures and just see what happens.
Yeah,
like
if you want me to really fucking blow your mind, take the 4 chaos gods of the old world in Warhammer. Yeah. Each one of those represents the types of vampires you're going to find out here in almost all the literature.
Gotcha.
Almost every vampire in literature can be reduced to one of those 4.
So a sexy vampire, pestilence vampire.
That's the Nos.
A angry bloodshed wants to kill everything.
Berserker, that's Vlad TP's, the original Dracula.
And then the intelligent vampire, the secrets and knowledge.
The sorceress magical one. That's the animal kinship. Turn into rats, turn into wolves, control animals.
That doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
It's the magic-y part.
Okay, gotcha.
So there's like the war, the sex, the plague, and the magic.
Yeah.
So yeah. And we'll talk more about White Wolf's World of Darkness.
And the new 5th chaos god.
There's 5 now?
Well, Vashtor is, if you check the Discord, Goblins, I've been working on did I post my Vashtor kit bash there? I don't think I did.
I don't know.
So I've been kit bashing. Vashtor in Warhammer is like a minor chaos demon lord. He's like a minor chaos god. He hasn't ascended to like the big 4 yet. Sure. But he's on his way to. He's getting fucking close. And he's the chaos god of man's need to make war machines. Like the ingenuity of man to create machines of destruction. Sure. That's what he represents.
Yeah.
So he's
the Oppenheimer of the old world.
Yes. Oh yeah, exactly. Oppenheimer of chaos. Yeah. This is 40K, not old world.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, okay. 40K, old world already has the rat god. which is the rats and death or whatever.
The Vermin Lord.
Yeah, Vermin Lord. Yeah. So anyway, that's my Nosferatu thing. I know it doesn't sound like I'm really into it because I didn't go super into detail, but I saw the photos that they created here, and one of them is of a classic Nosferatu male vampire with like a scientist looking garb on. And then the other one was the Nosferatu malefactor. She looks regal and like a queen. And it just got me really thinking about
a queen with buck teeth.
Vampires that can't reproduce anymore, that are turbo old and are only created from disease. I don't know. I've never thought of it that way. So it really
there are a
jumped
few
out
more
to
levers to pull and got your imagination going.
Right.
How much of that interest is based on the idea that you've been kind of like heads down in the Bloodlords for 2 solid books?
Yeah, that's probably has a lot to do with it because my character in Bloodlords is the guard of another PC who is a vampire himself. The reason I picked the pantheon that I picked is because I didn't want to be a skeleton who worshiped Nin.
Okay.
Nin is the god of like vampire research. It's a new god, the god of vampire research.
Eliminating vampiric weaknesses so that they can XYZ.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like one of those like
through science.
Exactly. It gives big like Hitler scientist vibes.
It's total.
Yeah, exactly. So I didn't want to be a skeleton of that god because he's a cleric and I was going to be a champion. So I figured I'd pick a pantheon that he was a part of to kind of like,
It kind of would have been cool to be a skeleton of that god and you actually have the fangs, but you're still a skeleton, right?
Yeah, I could go skeleton vampire.
Yeah, maybe you got demoted from vampire status to skeleton.
Yeah, so I became a champion of that, pantheon, of course. And I have a blood vampiric motif though in the character himself because he has a sword. One of the actual swords in one of the icons for the exemplar is basically like a blood draining motif where when you make an attack, you can spend another action to gain HP equal to the damage you just dealt. And so I have a katana that's called Rivers of Blood, which is a reference to Dark Souls, the Souls theories. It's a fucking sweet name. And it's actually Elden Ring, but it's the Souls series. And so that's kind of like my vampire tie-in to him. Okay. And you're right. Vampires have just been on my mind.
They've been on your mind lately. Yeah.
Because of the game I'm playing.
Come up. Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, that's always where my heart's been. And I know there are very specific goblins out there that know a lot more than I do about the world of darkness.
Love that.
So come down to the damn Discord and talk vampires. I miss talking about vampires.
Yeah, I want to do more undead. I just love undead so much.
Like how to make them interesting and not just, it's another zombie
movie. They're the bad guy. Ooh.
Oh, look, this is the 17th zombie movie. How is it different from the other 16? It's not, except this one has a Z at the end.
Exactly.
I'm really sour on zombie movies.
I mean, 28 days later, 28 weeks later, we just got 28 years later.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it yet,
but I heard
clever
it's
naming
fantastic.
Convention,
though. I like that.
Yeah.
And you can never get confused.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless you watch them backwards or out of order. So I'm going to move on to my next one, which is the template category.
Okay.
You're already dipping into this one. So I want to talk about, just name all the templates, then I'll tell you the one I picked. Because there's a lot of templates in here, and I'm here for it. The Grave Knight. Powerful skeletons that fight. We've had them for 30 years at least.
I guess.
There's the skeleton template. How to make a skeleton out of anything.
Can I just say real quick? I'm just going to throw this out there. We can keep going. I'm kind of mad. It didn't look like there was any new art for the Grave Knight.
Yeah.
Stuff. They didn't make new art for it. And I was like,
I wasn't sure about that, but I'm glad to hear you say that.
Tell me if I'm wrong.
Yeah. If you are, we both are.
Yeah.
There's also the Swarm Strider template. We'll probably talk about that in a bit. I imagine it's coming up on your list. The Nosferatu template we just went over, and the Divine Warden template. So that's, and if I missed anything else, it would have been earlier in the book.
Yeah.
That's like 6 things you can use to diversify everything else in this book, and I'm here for it.
I've always loved templates.
Yeah. Which one did I pick? I picked the Ravager template. And again, we're in Spooky Town because that's where I live. So what is a Ravager? For those of you who don't know, think of a Lich for dragons.
Yep.
That's the best way I can describe it.
Ravener almost made, because I'm a dragon simp.
Yeah.
Ravener almost made it on my list.
I just assumed it was going to be on yours.
Yeah.
There's so much to talk about Raveners, but I'm not going to go into it all. I'm just going to sort of
page, Erik?
go over some, and then Robert can intersperse with his thoughts, and we can linger here if we need to. 268 is the start of the Ravener section. So again, Lich, dragon. Dragons are badass. Dragons who become liches, blah, no words. There's a sidebar, Ravener layers, cunning and paranoid. Raveners prefer to make their layers in places hostile to mortal life. Atop peaks so high, living creatures struggle to breathe the rarefied air. Again, they're undead. Submerged beneath pools of magma in the caldera of an active volcano, and so on. Some Raveners even go so far as to deliberately fill their entire lair with lethally poisonous gases. So these are all places I wish I could live, so people would stop knocking on my door and trying to get me to convert to XYZ. That's a little bit about their personalities. Ravener minions, and this is the sidebar that made me pick this over all the other templates. This is just... This is peak snobbery, and I'm here for it.
All right.
Raveners view most undead creatures with little more respect than they have for living creatures, but they often make use of them as servants. They prefer incorporeal undead, such as ghosts and wraiths, over such crude and simple minions as skeletons and zombies, while most dragons are too prideful to turn to anyone, even the gods, for help. A few who seek to become Raveners are so desperate to stave off death that they might turn to powerful patrons for aid, such as demon lords, unholy deities, or powerful necromancers, offering service in exchange for their transformation. So I've been doing a lot of Rune Lord stuff through the play-by post, and the 7 deadly sins. It's all the backbone of all of it, and the idea of a pride is all over this. Mm-hmm. So being a dragon means you have pride. You're not only an apex predator, but you're an apex predator among predators.
You're the apex
You're at the
predator.
top, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But that's not enough. And I'm not ready to be done yet. I still want to spin this record for a few more years. But I can't do it on my own. Hi, Beelzebub. Can I take a moment of your time? This is a very difficult thing for me to ask.
Oh my God.
I'm not accustomed to asking for help, but I want to live forever. Let's chat. So buy me a beer, twist my nipple, and we'll make me undead. There's... Lich dragons. I mean, do I really need to say more? Dragoth from Dark Sun is the closest we've come to this, and that's not true. There was one in Forgotten Realms once upon a time.
So let's paint the lore a little more accurately here.
Sure. What do you got?
So when a dragon decides to become this Lich version of themselves, there's no phylactery, by the way. They basically do a ritual that they give you in the book, which I think is fucking awesome.
Yep.
It's a 7th level ritual. The cost is 50,000 GP of materials.
7th level is, just to put this in perspective, if you're playing a 6-book AP, it's before you finish book 2. No, isn't that where you are?
It's a 7th level ritual. It's a 7th power, like
ritual. Got it. Never mind. Continue as you were.
Yeah. So like
I conflated unlike things.
Yeah. So we're in like level. This is like level 15.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah. So the thing about Raveners is that they're hungry. So a Ravener has to consume a lot of fucking souls every month in order to stay alive. And if they don't consume souls, they start to starve and consume their own soul. Yeah. So they get rid of their flesh, and then they surround their bones with their own soul. That is like almost like a power armor or something like that. Mm-hmm. That's what a Ravener is. So they have to consume souls on a regular basis. They can't hide away in a palace and sleep for 100 years. They have to always be eating. Mm-hmm. I would say they're less like a lich and more like a ghoul almost. Okay. In the sense that they have a constant hunger motif going on.
Yeah, that lack of a phylactery is interesting because when I read the Soul Ward, that felt like a phylactery stand-in. You reduce them below 0, and then poof, the thing triggers that keeps them from
Oh, I must have
dying.
missed that. My bad.
So you're right. There is a lot of ghoul philosophy or theory around the Ravener, and it just seems like it's an undead dragon that does really big things. Consume soul is a free action for them. It's got the death trait, apparently. Trigger, a living creature within 30 feet of the Ravener dies. Gulp, sit down. The dying creature must attempt a fortitude save with the same DC as the Ravener's breath ability. Blah, 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 blah. They have a discorporate. Free action. Trigger, the Ravener takes excess damage to their soul ward, but still has at least 51 hit points in their soul ward. The effect is the Ravener draws deeply into their soul ward, discorporating their body into soul energy to escape, much like a vampire might do. So there are a number of different undead tropes that the Ravener just sort of like sucks up into this amalgam that the closest I can come to is a Lich at the end of that.
So I had to reread the soul ward.
Mm-hmm.
So the soul ward is just extra HP.
Yeah.
It's not a phylactery. It's not hidden somewhere else. It is just their body. An intangible field of necromantic energy protects the Ravener from total destruction.
Mm-hmm.
A soul ward has 150 maximum hit points and 200 if the Ravener is level 21 or higher. Whenever a Ravener would be reduced to 1 hit point, all damage in excess of that would reduce them to 1 hit point is instead dealt to their soul ward.
Mm-hmm.
If this damage reduces the soul ward to fewer than 0 hit points, the Ravener is destroyed.
Yeah.
Period. A soul ward's hit points can be restored only via specific Ravener abilities, blah, 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 blah. But nowhere in here does it say the soul ward exists somewhere else.
Right. It's not a 1-for-1 phylactery.
Okay, gotcha.
It serves the function of a phylactery in that once you hit 0 hit points, that's the contingency plan for the Lich.
Right.
In this case, the Ravener, to make his exit and heal up somewhere.
Right. Okay, got it. Got it.
And in this sense, doing it like vampirically by turning into things and floating away.
So this thing has got how much HP?
It depends on how you scale it. It starts at 13th level and goes to 21
the
or higher.
21st level 21, AC 47, HP is 500.
Yeah, and it has void healing as well. So that 500 is a soft number.
And then on top of that, it's got another 200 HP in its
soul ward.
Soul ward.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a beefy boy.
It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 immunities and 2 weaknesses.
It can cast Discorporate as a free action. Fuck me. All right.
And smoke doesn't impair a Cinder Ravener. Okay, that's
so
a
this is
specific
a Ravener created from a Cinder Dragon, yeah.
Yeah, and then there's a creature 14, which is a Ravener Husk. That's what Robert alluded to earlier.
Yeah, I love this.
Still 325 hit points, void healing, blah, 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 all the good stuff.
A Ravener Husk is basically like if they don't eat for too long, they begin consuming their own like soul, and they become like an anemic, emaciated Ravener.
Yeah,
which is still level 14. It's very
feels
cool.
very dark side for some reason.
Yeah.
Then there's a sidebar on Ravener
Dark
Treasure.
Sun?
There's another one for Ravener Spellcasters.
Eric, did you mean Dark Sun?
Star Wars. I was thinking.
Oh, Dark Side. Okay, yeah. I gotcha. Yeah. I was like, but also Dark Sun Ravener, where it's a starved Ravener just like walking across the desert trying to find living.
Oh, okay. I see what you're getting at. Yeah. Good image. In fact, that fucking artwork looks remarkably similar to the Forgotten Realms one that I was trying to remember.
Oh, okay.
Like this sort of like Dragon Lich thing.
This is a classic monster in
it is, yeah.
like a long time.
Second edition minimum, maybe earlier. So again, this is my template category. And sure, I can turn a kobold or a hippopotamus into a skeleton. That's great. But being able to turn a dragon into whatever that next stage is without calling him a god or ascending, that was something I needed filled. That didn't exist.
To me, I can't imagine running a one-shot with a Ravener. It would have to be an extended story.
Sure.
Like, to me, the first story that pops into my mind is the players learn of a dragon who's trying to become a Ravener.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a race against the clock. They fail the race. It turns into a Ravener. Because once a Ravener, from what I read, once a Ravener exists, everyone knows about it because it's constantly eating souls. It's constantly trying to consume. It's one of those problems that force you to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that just makes a very boring bad guy. It makes a good apocalypse. A Ravener becomes, it transcends from a dragon to an apocalypse.
Yeah.
In my mind.
Remember the
and by apocalypse, I mean apocalypses are things that have to be solved or everyone dies. So like, if you don't kill her, if they're like, to me, if there's a Ravener who currently lives, how is every nation state not trying to end its existence?
Well, there probably aren't a lot of them, and Galarian's a pretty big place, and these guys go to remote locations. So
that's what doesn't make
they
any
can
sense.
summon creatures,
That's what doesn't make any sense to me. Is if they have a hunger, they always have to satiate. I guess it depends on how big.
Well, they
the
don't
hunger
have to
is.
eat here on the prime material plane. They can go to other planes of existence and chow down. So they probably have a grand buffet and different like favored hunting grounds in wherever they go because
Okay, all right,
magic-y and all that.
that makes more sense.
But the adventure I was thinking of for this one, in terms of a one shot, that whole scene between when Indiana Jones, makes the bag swap with the head
Right.
between there and when he gets back to the plane, that could be the whole adventure. Like 20th level characters running away from this thing.
Oh,
Would be an
yeah.
amazing adventure.
That would be an amazing adventure.
And
yeah.
they have access to all their 20th level spell-like abilities and everything, but it keeps getting foiled by hazards in the Ravener's lair, which is where they are.
Right.
So I think there's a number of ways to spin that. The ooze thing we were talking about earlier, the carnivorous ooze, that could swallow a Ravener, and we could be inside the body of the Ravener, and the clicking in the ticking time bomb, the clock on the adventure is not we're taking hit point damage from the Ravener, but we're navigating the interiority of the Ravener's space for whatever reason, and we are losing hit points at certain milestones because the ooze is eating us.
That's fucking trippy.
Yeah, I mean there's a bunch of ways to use these that Tarrasque like
apocalypse
guys.
monster.
Yeah, apocalypse monsters. Yeah, in ways that aren't simply you start in your corner, I'll start in my corner, and then we'll duke it out until one of us falls.
Right. That makes a lot of sense to me.
So I didn't want to take up an hour on the Ravener, but it's interesting.
But we did.
It's good. You can apply it to others. I'd love to see like a dumbed down version of this for drakes instead of dragons.
Okay.
Like what would a Ravener drake look like?
You
What
can
would
just
a Ravener
apply the template to a drake and see what happens.
Yeah, Ravener kobold. I mean, there's just it's got the dragon, primal, undead. I think those are the big tags for like how to start as a person. And then you get the fire and the unholy and the undead. You can magically, and gargantuan, you can magically kind of achieve those and then do your ritual, whatever it is, and then poof, you are now a Ravener kobold who is never taken seriously because you're probably still short.
But angry and blue or powerful energy boy.
He's an angry kobold.
All right, so my number 4.
What do you got?
Eric fucking called it. He fucking nailed it. It's Swarm Strider.
Of course it is.
It's Swarm Strider.
Of course it is. That's why I didn't pick it.
I love worms that walk, man.
Yep.
It's just a cool idea. I just like it. It's just cool. So what did we get? Swarm Strider. They gave us a template. No, they didn't. Yes, they did. Yes.
Yes.
They gave us a template for a worm that walks, except they expanded the idea to just a person who died, who had like a burning need to do something, a burning sensation, a burning emotion.
Mhm.
Insects consumed them while they were dying, and their energy has suffused those insects, and that swarm has corporealized into a half swarm, half living construct being. I love it. It's the guy from Men in Black. You know, the Roach Man from Men in Black. That's what it is.
Eddie?
Yeah, something like that. So what did they do? They gave us the Swarm Strider, which is like this class of, or this, category of monsters. And then they gave us the Skittering Slayer, the Worm Prophet, and the Thousand Thieves. So they gave us worms that walk, if you will, that are, legally distinct. And they piezofied them. They spun them.
Mm-hmm.
So a Skittering Slayer, when the warrior's last thoughts are of bloodlust, their body can become so suffused with rage that it infects whatever eats their corpse. This singular emotion binds together the resultant swarm, combining the insect's will to survive with the berserker's deathless rage, creating an indomitable combatant. Often made up of roaches or similarly tenacious insects, Skittering Slayers rarely develop long-term plans, instead scuttling about in search of dark refuges and passionate fights. So that's like a spin on the emotion. So they're worms that walk with emotions that are driving them forward. The next one is a Worm Prophet. This is the one that really inspired me to pick it because again, I can see this is like that smart casting BBEG man pulling the strings kind of skittering worm that walks creature. So the worm prophet, even though they believe they'll dwell with their deity in the afterlife, when nearing death, some priests desperately call out to any gods willing to listen. The worms that consume such an ex-priest's flesh absorb these prayers, transforming them into a worm prophet, a pious swarm strider that might worship hundreds of gods without calling anyone its patron, perhaps collecting dozens of religious symbols or haphazardly tearing pages out of various religious texts and binding them into a contradictory new scripture. So this is a living swarm of insects driven by an emotional calling related to divinity. That was such a unique idea to me. Yep. It just, I couldn't not choose it. You know what I mean? That is what real BBEGs are made of. Like, that's a madness that is just knowable enough for me to buy as a player and just cool enough for me to spin as a DM.
Yeah, and there's something swarm-like in the Starfinder sense about it. It's not a one-for-one comparison, but it definitely took me to that area where you mentioned it was like a religious significance or a deific significance. That sort of like, this is larger than I or we. And that instantly creates stakes where before there were none.
The other thing I loved, there's a sidebar in here that talks about split personalities. So it literally says that every bug acts like a neuron in a brain. And when you deal damage to a swarm strider, when you kill one of those bugs, you're killing a neuron. If you partially kill a swarm strider, it loses memories. And then as it reconstructs and builds itself back, it fills those holes in its memories with new memories and it becomes a new person. Like if you almost completely destroy a swarm strider, it's a tongue twister. It has an amnesia of its past and begins to brokenly fit things back together and imagine, fill in these major gaps in its amnesia with answers that weren't correct. I love that.
How interesting would it be to have sort of like a long form adventure where the whole point is to make that creature not a douchebag anymore and you fight it and you cut its memories out and then it starts growing new memories and filling it. Damn it. They're not good fills. Yeah. He's still a douchebag.
Cut him again.
And then we have to fight him again 5 levels later.
Right.
And you just keep like, and wherever he forks from after those encounters, it directs the...
he kind of levels alongside you almost like that.
Yeah, and eventually you get to that epic level and you're like, this is it. One of us is going down completely this time.
10th level fireball, baby.
Right. You have one last chance to repent.
Yeah.
Nick, that was for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good choice. I like it.
Number 4, Swarm Strider.
If I didn't think you were going to pick it, I would have picked it.
It's just so interesting.
Yeah. And again, spooky and creepy, which is kind of more to our taste. Are we ready for my what the fuck option?
Absolutely.
My I see what you did there. Who can I talk to about this? Who will laugh as hard as I did on this one?
Okay.
So there's a new kind of devil. New to me anyways. I don't know if this was out in first edition.
That's the other thing about this book. I don't know how much of these are repeats.
I know, right?
Because
I recognize some of the artwork. I know that guy's a repeat, the rust devil.
I don't DM enough to know which of these are repeats and which of these are just new monsters.
I just know I've seen miniatures at stores that look exactly like this artwork, and that's the only way I know.
There you go.
So there's something called the Heresy devil. And as we know, the demons and the devils, and I think even the daemons, they all represent something. And this one is heresy, where a bright mind seeking knowledge becomes corrupted by eloquent lies and twisted truths. And Eingav Hall is sure to look. Often donned in the holy vestments of other faiths, in a twisted mockery of their principles, these wily, well-read devils delight in using their knowledge to twist religious texts and teachings into the dangerous principles that those same texts warned against. So that's a bit of an introduction. This is where things get fun for me. So when I first read this and looked at it, immediately I misread the name, Eingaval, and I read the Ayn Rand Devil.
Oh, that's...
Check this sidebar out. And for anybody who's read Atlas Shrugged or the one about the fucking architect or the one about Anthem, I'm I was introduced to a lot of stuff that I probably shouldn't have been as a 17-year-old. So, beyond peer review, each Eingeval carries a personal tome that is an ever-changing encyclopedia of knowledge and literature, laced with malevolent bias and half-truths. When an Eingeval reads their personal tome, they can intrinsically understand the concepts presented and the true nature of the text, which is often needed to add credibility to their argument. Depending on the personality of the Eingeval, they will sometimes take on a tome they find as their new personal tome, transfixed by the new truths found within. The tome is illegible to all other creatures. Check out some of these abilities. And again, think Atlas Shrugged, think the Fountainhead, and all the usuals. Herald Heresy. Auditory Divine Unholy. The Eingeval imparts blasphemous thoughts into the minds of all non-devil creatures within a 20-foot burst up to 60 feet away. An affected creature takes 2d10 mental damage plus 2d10 spirit damage. Must attempt a DC 33 will save. Affected creatures get a cumulative blah, 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 blah. Poison Minds is its next ability. Creatures hit by the Eingeval's searing words must succeed at a DC 33 will saving throw or become stupefied for one round. Blah, blah, blah. If you're trained in religion, they take a -2 circumstance penalty to their save. They have a selection of arcane prepared spells. Dominate. Nevermind. Banishment. Mind Probe. Subconscious Suggestion. Daze. Detect
Wait,
magic.
Nevermind is a spell.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, it's probably a renamed something else. I don't know. Figment, Phase Bolt, and Telekinetic Hand. All of those are resonant with themes within the Ayn Rand canon. This is a wonderful thumbing of the nose.
Okay.
And first 3 letters, Eingeval.
Yeah, that's
with everything else around it.
Yeah, that's
It's just, it was so delicious when I saw this. It had to be. If I had a top 5 list and I could have made this all 5 of my options, I would have.
It definitely was intentional. It couldn't have not been intentional.
If it was accidental, oh my God. C3PO, tell me the odds.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's the Heresy Devil. I like devils. I like demons. I like daemons. I like psychopomps, especially more now. I like the sort of like, this metaphor has been given a meat suit. You know, back to what's the role of fantasy? What does it do?
Metaphors given meat suits is the name. Dude, that needs to be the title of this video.
GSR.
Metaphors given meat suits. I love that and I hate that. Oh my God.
Hey man, this is Monster Core 2. That's what this is about. But
I'm sweating.
But the whole idea of like, how do you stick Ayn Rand in a fantasy?
Right.
The metaphor of the objectivist philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
This is it, my dude.
Fucking devil. Oh, that's crazy.
And you can do that with all of them.
Yeah.
You know, John Locke can be in here somewhere as a celestial or demon, depending on how you view it.
Yeah.
So on and so forth.
Both.
Fantasy is important
Two
because
sides
it
of the
helps
same
us
coin.
both.
Yeah.
Why not both?
Why not both?
Because it helps us understand our actual lived-in universe where we pay rent and do taxes and go to protest rallies.
Oh my God.
Which I did.
Oh yeah. No King's
7
Day.
million people.
No
My
Kings
wife and I
here
were
in
2 of
America, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my my Heresy Devil.
I love that.
Rant.
All right, so my number 1. I'm gonna podcast man you.
Yeah.
And maybe the
You're
goblins
gonna pod man me?
who've already
Do it.
read this book will
I'm
be
here
able to
for it.
guess. Not many bother to ask the name of the unassuming elven librarian in the archives
I love
of
this one.
Pengelos. But only a precious few know her true identity. When she descends into the dampness of her underground lair, she resumes the form of the despair dragon,
This was my number 7.
Thindred. She is careful to avoid notice while above the surface, but she has found that a well-placed scroll, or perhaps a timely nightmare, can have quite the influence on the already draconian workings of Umbral Court. This gradual escalation of distress among members is particularly nourishing for Thindred. The art is what got me. The goblins were talking about it on the Discord.
Yep.
But like the second the PDF for this dropped, the adult despair dragon is actually fucking terrifying. It has
It's the best art in the book for my money.
Yeah, it has insectoid eyes. It has a long tongue that's like the length of its body or a wing. At the end of it is like a some sort of insect thing looking.
It's a pseudopod.
Thing. Yeah,
like a displacer beast.
Right.
And it's holding like a bunny or a rat or something.
Exactly. The tips of its wings have these disgusting finger things to them. Its tail looks serrated, like a sawtooth saber sword.
Yep.
And it has tiny little insectoid T-Rex hands for its arms.
And the toenails.
Look
toenails.
At the toenails. It has these disgusting
They look like Gollum toenails, like from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, exactly. Like overgrown human toenails.
They look like my toenails.
Which it shouldn't have. So anyway.
Come to my OnlyFans to see.
Oh my God. You got a taste.
That costs extra.
You got to taste extra.
I'll mail you the clippings.
So despair dragons, they're dragons that literally feed on fear.
Yep.
If there's any one like monster in this whole book that should be your next BBEG for your campaign, if not for a books 1 to 10, it should be a despair dragon.
Yeah. I mean,
the adult despair dragon clocks in at creature level 13. That means if you climb up to level 10 or 11, your party should be able to defeat it in one-on-one combat, or maybe with 1 or 2 mooks. It's dripping. Its art alone drips with so much flavor, with so much obvious. It's just begging.
It looks
to be
like
used.
an NPC. It doesn't look like a dragon. It looks like this guy has a name and there's only one in the entire world.
Yes, exactly.
The features are so distinctive. I can't imagine a second creature looking exactly like this.
Exactly. And the fact that 2 exist is terrifying, which is apropos. So fear is one of the most powerful emotions, and despair dragons are masters of channeling those feelings of terror and hopelessness for their own benefit. As with other occult dragons, despair dragons are driven by an innate compulsion. So occult dragons have a compulsion. Similar to the other thing I didn't realize that was brought up in my undead game is that vampires all have compulsions. And Brian wants to pick a compulsion and play it up in our game, because it's a quirk that he wants to make real.
You're going to learn a lot about that in World of Darkness vampires.
This is a quirk that occult vampires have, which is a compulsion. And their compulsion is to strike terror in others. So they don't literally feed on it, but they have a compulsion to do it.
Yeah.
Despair dragons tend to settle near settlements, so they have a source of fear to draw from. The most common items in despair dragons' hordes are scrolls, tomes, and relics that serve as research material. Though through these, despair dragons learn of local folklore, urban legends, and more to better taunt their targets. Like, no sidebar flavor text immediately gave me a BBEG like this one.
Right.
You know, it's a big reveal at the end kind of deal. The players have been asking this librarian for information the whole time. You know, this unassuming elven librarian in the archives of Pangolais, like, her name is Sally, and the players found her at level 2, and she's been feeding them books about things, misdirecting them the entire time, giving them red herrings, until at the end it's revealed that Sally was really the despair dragon Thindred behind it all. Like,
yeah,
fucking, those are the kind of reveals you beg for.
Absolutely, yeah. To put that creature center stage as a BBEG, that's sort of the bread and butter of Paizo.
Yeah.
And as you were talking, I started thinking about, well, what if instead of an actual BBEG or bad guy or adversary, it's more of a setting, the creature. So like the dread that it does, that it feeds off of, that it instills and sucks out of the populace, that's a part of the scenery. The real BBEG is somebody who's leveraging all that and hiding within it. So this dragon isn't something you're meant to poke in the eye with your Holy Avenger sword until it goes down to 0 hit points, but it's something you have to endure like a cataclysm in order to get on the other side of it. You know, some of these large, massive creatures, Tarask is another example of that. That type of creature, that is a creature as setting, not just creature as creature or creature as stat block.
Right.
So a gargantuan, a huge, a monstrous, a city-sized creature like that, just sort of, as players, we got to fight that thing at some point, don't we? But no, we just have to endure its presence. But we don't know that as players because you as a GM haven't told us that. So I spend the whole time being really careful about my choices from session to session to session.
Yeah.
There's a lot you can do with a creature like this.
I love it so much. Its abilities are fucking weird. It has a reaction called Consume Fear, where a creature within 60 feet loses the frightened condition. The dragon feasts upon the fear that leaves the triggering creature's body, gaining 48 temp HP. Another reaction, Unbidden Thoughts. The dragon is critically hit with a weapon and armed strike. The attacker's mind fills with visions of their worst fears that overwhelm their senses. They must choose one of the following results. Either the triggering attacks becomes normal success, or the critical hit is unaffected, but the triggering creature becomes frightened too. No save, by the way. No save here. You're given 2 options. That alone is terrifying, mechanically. But I love the synergy. So one turn, unbidden, it gets critted. It gives Unbidden Thoughts. You picked a crit and deal damage, so you become frightened too. Next turn, guess what? It's going to eat the fear that's falling off of you, and it's going to consume that fear, gaining temp HP. I love that synergy in a creature. Yeah. Shrieking Breath. I love these new breath attacks. Did you read the Phase Dragon's breath attack?
I didn't know.
It forces teleportation. It's when you get hit with the breath, it forcibly teleports you 30 feet.
Yeah. In a game where teleportation has been dramatically altered.
Okay, first off, sure, if you critically fail 60 feet, I just teleport you 60 feet in the air, you fall and take damage. But maybe you're fighting on the side of a cliff.
Can they control it?
Yeah.
They can control where to teleport you.
I have to read it again.
Sure.
But anyway, we're getting
that would be, yeah.
So Shrieking Breath. The dragon lets out a cacophonous sound made of every scream the dragon has drawn from a terrified enemy.
So metal.
Dealing 8d6 sonic damage in a 30-foot cone. Creatures who fail their will save must spend the first... Also, will save. Breath attack that has a will save.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
What? So creatures who fail their will save must spend the first action of their next turn doing nothing but screaming. So basically they're slowed one, or stunned one. The dragon can't use Shrieking Breath again for 1d4 rounds.
Okay.
It's just fucking damage and then forces a one. I love that it's not you're just stunned one. No, you are screaming at the top of your lungs for one action at the beginning of the round. I love that.
There's a couple of things my brain is sort of chewing on right now as we talk about this. One is
the tongue decoy is a...
Yeah, talk about that.
I just want to interject real quick. The tongue decoy is a 4-paragraph ability.
It's also the coolest part of the art.
4 paragraphs, goblins. Go on, Eric.
Oh, where was I going to go with that? Every now and again, you come across a creature in one of these bestiaries or monster cores where there's an entire book that it just fits into. So like for a clockwork dragon, I would immediately go, oh yeah, this is Guns and Gears. I want that off my shelf. I'm going to read that alongside the Sentry. This one is fucking Dark Archives. So the whole occulty, X-Files, abductions and stuff like that. And the reason why I bring that up is because that's the book where the Psychic came around and the Thaumaturge came around, but mainly the Psychic. And you know how I'm always complaining about there aren't enough monsters in here with the dream tag or the dream trait?
Yeah.
Traits that synergize really well. So this creature, what can you use it with? What other creatures? Well, those that fuck around with dreams and do things with your subconscious that terrify the shit out of you.
Right.
So it's not just like waking dread, but sleeping dread. And that gives you a whole bunch of other beasties to put under the wings of your new BBEG spooky dragon.
And I love that the Despair Dragon it can literally eat off of the fear of things, but the reason it creates fear is because of a compulsion, not because of a hunger, right? So it's not it doesn't need this to survive, which means that it can be patient.
Right.
It's doing this for fun, basically. Well, it's a compulsion.
It's a compulsion, right?
But you get my point. Like it's doing this because it wants to, and it creates terror because that's what it does.
Yeah.
So, to your point about it being a setting, I can imagine the players find out, you know, there's fear going around the town. They don't know where it's coming from, or they do know where it's coming from but they don't know how it got this bad. And the player discovers the trail of things that led to it getting this bad and the bad people who took advantage of that fear to gain power and so on and so forth. It eventually leads them back to the despair dragon. They meet in its lair, or they meet this dragon. They corner it on the streets in its human form. And instead of being a BBEG fight, it reveals itself and leaves.
Yeah.
That alone is just like, yeah, you solve the problem by shining light on it and it just disappears.
Yeah.
And there's, you know, let's say it's an adult despair dragon. Let's say this adventure goes up to like level 5 or 6. This 13th level. No, let's make it an ancient despair dragon. You know how it got ancient? Because when it gets discovered, it just goes to a new town and starts over again.
Yeah.
So this you're at the end of a 2-book or a 3-book adventure. You know, you guys are 10th level, and this dragon transforms in front of you, and you're like, you know, your eyes go up to it, and you're like, oh fuck. The wizard is like frantically looking through his pages. At 10th level, this wizard's kind of a badass, and he's like, I'm pretty sure this is a despair dragon, and I'm pretty sure it's much higher power level than us.
Yeah, can you imagine if Stephen King's It wasn't Pennywise the Clown, but this thing?
Exactly.
It's the same story and the same idea.
Absolutely.
So it doesn't even have to be like the despair dragon is indiscriminately making everybody terrified. What if he's selective? What if his compulsion targets a specific subpopulation?
Yes.
Children in the case of It.
Yeah.
Or only elves, you know?
Right.
You know, that 10% of the community that happens to be elven. Why are all the elves wigging out in our community?
Yeah.
You know, just this is interesting. And the Dark Archives connection, I don't think there's enough love for Dark Archives in terms of printed material out there.
Agreed, yeah.
And critters like this make me want to go back to that book so that it can be a larger experience.
Absolutely.
Same for Rage of Elements.
Yeah.
But this is also a Rage of Elements friendly.
Oh, absolutely. There's a bunch of elementals
All
in
the
here that
planar
we didn't
shit.
even cover, yeah. So there you go, goblins. There's our top 5.
Yep, our Goblin 5.
Our Goblin 10.
I think we had 11. I had.
We had more than that. Yeah.
You had 6. I had 5. And
you had
honorable
like
mentions.
12.
And I wanted to steal one of yours and make it my 7. So this was our Goblin less than 20.
Yes, absolutely less than 20. Thanks for hanging out with us. We always appreciate your time, energy. And if you want to join the conversation, jump down into the comments, leave a comment, like, subscribe, or join the Discord to start chatting with us on Discord. We have a really cool community of goblins that love vibing. If you're here at the end of the video and you've actually listened to the whole thing, thank you. You're amazing. I really can't stress enough how much we appreciate it. So thanks so much for all your support. And as always,
Keep it weird.
keep it despair dragon weird, baby.
Watch me